Hey everyone, this is the Tell the Truth Sports Radio Show. I'm your host, Ron Fitch. I'm going to tell you the truth why I was deprived of two very potentially good NBA playoff games, one by injury and one by a suspension that I had a problem with. Now let's go with the injury. Kyrie Irving got hurt. Brooklyn loses to Milwaukee. The series is tied 2-2. Milwaukee wins 107 to 96. The Nets, they tied the series with the Brooklyn Nets. This was an interesting game because the Bucks were on fire, and I was wondering. I said, the Nets should have put them away, and I'll get to that point after the game. Should have put them away in Game 3, but they didn't. But what was interesting was the game was back and forth. The Bucks were only up 5 at the half. Kyrie Irving was playing well, so Kevin Durant had help. Kyrie Irving hurts his ankle. He fell on it. I hated the way he fell on his ankle and really twisted. It's going to be questionable about Game 5. So now he's out. The Brooklyn Nets are compromised. With Green just coming back, but kind of rounding into shape, he was trying to get his sea legs. No Harden because of his hamstring, and Irvin out. It's just Durant. And what the Bucks did is they just dared the others to beat them. They had PJ Tucker, who's the unsung hero, because not only did he play good defense, he had 13 points and 5 of 8, all 5 of those patented corner threes that he hits. But this is what the Nets' problem was. The Bucks played kind of a box and one type of a defense where they focused their attention. They told PJ Tucker, get as close to Durant as you can, take his airspace away, drives around you, help will come immediately. Because we'll dare Griffin to take threes. He was 3 of 8 from 3. Harris is off, so that helps. He's 3 of 8 from 3. And the others are not going to make a lot of threes, whereas the Milwaukee Bucks hit 16 three-point shots today. You think about that. 16 three-point shots. Man, that is a lot. Whew, my goodness. That's a big portion of your points. That's that hurt the Nets badly. The Nets and the Nets have played good defense, but the Bucks and Giannis had an effective 34 points today because he was getting to the rim. He got to the rim the other day, but I didn't think it was as effective. There's a difference between what he had, 35 points. The last game, he wasn't as effective. He's effective this game. And he had a huge impact in the way and the Bucks played with force. And I respected that. They played of course they hit the 16 threes. That's going to help, but they played with an intensity. The crowd was in it. I mean, the Nets have only scored 83 and 96 in Milwaukee, so they're not really tearing it up offensively. The Bucks are making them work. They're making KD work. KD was 1 of 8 from 3-point range, I believe. Yes, 1 of 8 from 3-point range, and he is a deadly 3-point shooter. He's 9 of 25. They made him work, but it was just him out there. It was just him out there by himself on an island without, it's one thing if that's his team. But it's another thing if you're used to playing with a certain player, star player, and he's gone, like when LeBron lost AD. All right, LeBron, carry it. He can't do that. LeBron and KD can't do that at this point in time in their careers. They need the stars if they're used to playing with them all year long with the chemistry. Now, you're not going to be able to do that against the Suns and the teams like the Bucks. They're too deep, and they're too good. It's just That was very, 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 very impressive. I mean, 60 of the 107 points were threes by Milwaukee. 62 of the 107 points. That's a lot. It's impressive. And they played. And now, because the Nets had an opportunity 83 to 80 with a minute 23 left, they got to get that home. Because if you go up 3-0, Kyrie gets hurt. All right, we close them out in game 5. Everybody gets their rest. Now the series is in peril. It's 2-2. Bucks are going to Brooklyn with a lot of confidence, healthier. You don't know even if Kyrie plays how much he could play because he's a driver and he uses his legs as far as ability to shift gears. He could do some of the best one-on-one work you've ever seen in NBA history, and now he could be compromised. Harden's not going to play. Green is coming back. You got to hope Green gives you something. I think what the Nets need to do is go heavy on Griffin in the post. He'll shoot. I don't want him shooting that many threes. I want him shooting 8 threes and missing 5 of them. That you can't do that against the Bucks. I think you go steady diet with him, and then you got to have other James out to play better at home, the backup point guard. You got to hope Kyrie, if Kyrie doesn't play, you're going to have to mix and match and hope that Brooklyn crowd is loud. KD is going to play better. Trust me. They're going to be talking about, well, he got shut down. The Bucks shut him down. PJ Tucker shut him down. That's going to, you know how KD is. KD's like, okay, all right. We'll see the next game. But the Nets, I think the Nets will play a lot better. But the Bucks have a lot of confidence because now they're hitting jump shots. What if Giannis, he's not even hitting. He can't hit the broadside of a barn from outside. What if he hit a couple threes in Brooklyn? This is why you got to put a team away. Put the Bucks away. They did not put the Bucks away. And now you got a problem now. Of course, they could win the series in 7. But you don't want to lose game 5 and then go back to Milwaukee where you haven't won all year in Milwaukee. Their crowd is electric. They'll smell blood. They're a veteran team. Giannis wants to get to the finals. So it would be in the Nets' best interest to try to get game 5. You probably lose game 6. And then hopefully Kyrie and maybe even Harden will come back. All hands on deck for game 7. But you better win game 5 somehow. If you don't, you're in trouble. You're not. If you're down 3-2, you're not going to Milwaukee and winning in Milwaukee unless KD has about 60. But the Nets will be fine if they play, like I said, if they go into with Griffin and the others really show up and their defense is solid, they rebound and they do a little better job of contest. They don't turn the ball over. Because they turned the ball over. They really, really turned the ball over badly in this game. 17 turnovers. 17 turnovers. Milwaukee had 16 threes. The Nets had 17 turnovers. That's the difference in the game right there. Can't have 17 turnovers with Brooklyn, or you're gonna be facing elimination. So they have to cut down the turnovers because there's a couple simple dumb mistakes they made that they have to clean up. If they do that, they're going to be in the game. But it's going to be a dogfight because now it's not going to be like that 30-point win that they had in 30-plus when they had game 2 at home. Now you got a confident team. The Bucks are sensing it. They sense that the Nets are a little wounded health-wise. I don't know. This could be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen Tuesday because now you got 2 teams. Before it seemed like the Nets had the advantage, but now you don't know because the Nets are home. The Bucks are healthier. Okay. The next game, the Suns advance. They are in the conference finals now. They've swept the Nuggets 125-118. They were leading most of the way, but it got good because the Nuggets cut the lead to 5, and then Jokic gets thrown out of a game they shouldn't have got thrown out of. He did swing at Payne. He hit him in his face, but he was going for the ball. The officials have to use some sort of discretion. That just messed it. I just wanted to see. I don't know about the rooting interest. I just wanted to see that competitive game. That it was going to be competitive, nip and tuck, last possession. Even Reggie Miller said, "Man, it's going to be a good game. It's the first really good game. It's going to be after all the different blowouts that the Suns had." But he gets thrown out, and the Nuggets fought hard. I mean, Will Barton gave you everything he had. I mean, 25 points and 5 rebounds, but Chris Paul was outstanding. He was amazing. I mean, amazing. Just the mid-range shots and the moves and the way he could come off that high screen and how smart he plays the defenders. And the last play, he drove all the way to the basket and the foul, the one shot he made, and the one play when he went up 11 and he saw, and he's always, this is what I do love about him. He's always serious, but he smiled because he knew he's going to the conference finals, and this group could get him to the finals for the first time. He's got to be excited about that, and I'm happy for him. I'm sad for the Nuggets that Jokic was gone and you didn't have Jamal Murray, but they got something to build with next year. Maybe they add another piece, but the Suns are moving on. And will they play the Clippers or the Jazz? I told you that the Clippers are going to beat the Jazz. The Jazz better get Conley, and he better play well. Because if Conley plays game 4, they have a chance. If he's not playing game 4, the Jazz has absolutely no chance whatsoever. No chance. You here, I tell the truth. I'm telling the truth right now. They got no chance of beating the Clippers because the Clippers shot better. Clippers are a good 3-point shooting team, but they shot it really good. And yeah, Kawhi had 34, but it was Paul George's 31 that was big. And then Batum and Jackson was 17, and Jackson was 6 from 8 from 3. Batum 6 from 9 from 3. Paul George 50% from 3, 12 of 24. Kawhi Leonard 14. No, let me get this right here. I apologize. That's the field goals. Paul George 6 of 10 from 3. Batum 4 of 6 from 3. Jackson 5 of 6 from 3. Come on now. I mean, that's serious. They hit 17 3-point shots. That's serious. And they played what they did. They really got after Mitchell, and he got 30, but he had to work. And Ingles played well, but Bogdanovich didn't go crazy. They shut him down. He went 2 of 10. And the Clippers were more, like I said, they were more intense at home. And they found their defensive and offensive rhythm. And I think that's going to happen again unless Conley plays. And even if Conley plays, he's got to play well. And they need Conley. To win another game in this series, they need Conley. They need their help because the Clippers Utah was very fortunate to win those 2 games when they almost blew both games at the end. And the Clippers didn't play their best. And the Clippers played their best game 3. And I'm going to tell you something. They said, no team has ever come back twice in the playoffs down 2-0. The Clippers are going to do that. I've never been a big Clipper guy. I always mock them and say that I don't trust them, but this group can come back, with Leonard and George. And Paul George's offense may come and go, and they call him Pandemic P. I'm not going to call him Pandemic P because think about it, he was a superstar before that gruesome injury when he was playing for the Olympics. And he's gotten his sea legs, but he's never going to be that athletic dude, that budding star. But he should be the second fiddle. That's what I expect. And he was the second fiddle. And that's all they need. If he's going to do that, and Kawhi Leonard, they're going to win the next 3 games. But Utah, I'm not writing Utah off. They're up 2-1. I got to see Conley. If Conley comes back and plays well, Utah can win this series in 7. Utah's goal is to get this series to Salt Lake City, Game 7, with that crowd. That's okay. But if the Clippers win Game 4, they're gonna have a lot of confidence. Game 5 is more easier to win on the road because the crowd is a little more nervous. In Game 7, where the crowd's gonna be crazy. But there you have it right there. Now, the Sixers and the Hawks, like I told you, the Hawks are playing for respect. The Sixers are playing to get to the finals. And now with the Nets compromise and the Sixers knowing they could beat the Bucks. And the Sixers, I'm a historian. They have a long history of beating the Bucks. Dr. J, they used to beat the Bucks all the time, with the exception of the last couple of years when Dr. J got old. They have a long history of beating the Bucks. Iverson beat Cassell and Ray Allen, those guys. So if the Sixers, now I'm not writing the Nets off, but I just got to see them healthy. If the Nets are healthy, they're going to play the Sixers. I got to see how healthy the Nets are. But I know, see, I'm not sure about the Milwaukee Nets series because I don't know the injury report. But I know the Sixers are moving on in the next round. It's just whether it's going to be 5 or 7. If the Hawks put up a fight, the Sixers get a little sloppy and lull, and they don't take the Hawks serious like they did Game 1 and let up a little, the Hawks could win Game 4, and maybe they're going to. Then I don't care what happens tomorrow. They're not losing in Atlanta. They're not winning Game 5. So either it's going to be 2-2 and the Sixers go up 3-2, or the Hawks lose tomorrow and the Sixers crush them and get ready to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm like 70-30 on that. 70% of me is saying the Sixers are going to beat them. 30% is telling me the Hawks are going to catch fire in the fourth quarter and pull out the game in a tight game. But I just think the Sixers sense that they have a chance. Just like Chris Paul sensed he had a chance. And that's why he played like he did. And now that Phoenix can taste it, they got a chance to get to the finals. And the Sixers feel that way too. It depends on. Now, if Harden, Kyrie, and KD are healthy, I'm picking the Nets. Sixers will give them trouble. But if they're not, the Sixers get to the finals. But that's what I love about the NBA. It's getting hotter and hotter. I was hoping for the Suns and the Nuggets to go further, but nah, that's not happening. All right, this is the last segment of my show. I'll talk about boxing, and Shakur Stevenson. I thought he was just fine. He won a majority decision over Jeremiah Nakitila. And Jeremiah, he was just in there trying to throw the one right, but he had power. I didn't have any problem with the way, Shakur could have been more offensive, but he did what he had to do, hitting him with hard lefts, jabbing to the body. Now, he didn't go volume. He didn't take the chance of getting hit, but it was smart. And I'm going to give you 2 reasons why it was smart. Number one is it wasn't worth the risk when you got a title shot with Herring coming up. And Herring is a different type of monkey. You can go in there and Herring's going to be a little more, he's not always going to be in survival mode. He'll be able to get Herring out a little more spectacular for him. And then now you're payday. Now Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson. Now you get to put everything on the line. Everything. You don't have to go in there and take chances and fight. But this one, I understood this one. And also, number 2, Herring and now Valdez could see this and be like, oh, okay, he was a safety first. That could get him brave enough to come to the table now. Maybe they were ducking him before. They're like, okay, I'll fight him now because maybe we got a chance. That is a good thing for Shakur. And if he gets past, I know he's going to get past Herring. He's going to whoop Herring. He can get past Valdez and move up. And you got Telfimo and Tank and all those monsters all in one division. That could be something special. And then finally, my guy, Julian Rodriguez, he lost to Pedraza. Pedraza was smart. And what Pedraza did was knowing that Julian had never went 10 rounds, so he's going to pace himself. But what Pedraza did was give him ridiculously tough angles to find, because Julian's a rhythm fighter, and he gets in rhythm by going to the body, going to the body, going to the body, break that down, then going to the head with hard shots. He couldn't find him, and you could tell his inexperience kind of took over because he's still young and he's getting hit. Not only can't he find this guy, this guy's pot shotting him, not hitting him a hard shot, but hitting him with enough shots. Then he gets thumbed in the eye, and he can't see, and he's losing the fight on points because he would have needed a knockout. And Pedraza wins, and he's going to go in there against Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor's probably going to beat him, but he does deserve that title shot. And I hope that they don't screw Julian Rodriguez over and they allow him, because a lot of good fighters that start out end up taking losses and then coming back and getting that shot. Pacquiao did. He got knocked out twice with body shots when he was younger, and he ended up getting a title shot. So hopefully they don't screw him over and he allows to recover and get a couple wins, get more experience, and get where I believe he could go in boxing.